So thanks again for joining this week's masterclass for Facebook ads. And if you were there in the previous masterclass, that was last Thursday, we were talking about pretty much the basics, how you can use Facebook ads for lead generation for your business, how you can grow them. And I kind of showed you where you basically, step-by-step process how to set that up. This time, I really want to show you a little more detailed things. Let's say, for example, how to retarget and how to basically set things up in a way so you're, there you go, set things up in a way that you can get a better bang for your buck. And this includes custom audiences, retargeting audiences, and there's a whole bunch of things. Now, before I start, I do want to reiterate this one more time. I did go over this last time just a bit, but I'll kind of do a visual presentation this time. Hopefully it gives you an idea what I was talking about in much more better detail. Okay, so when you're starting off your Facebook campaign, some of you might remember that a good idea or a good budget is around $1,500 to $2,000 per month. And I only say that because you want to create you want to build engagement and brand awareness first. I mean, you can definitely go ahead and target your ads to a colder audience. That does work, but I think, and from my experience and from what these massive agencies, these massive marketing agencies do, is that they actually create awareness for your brand for a certain audience first. And, this is like the widest audience you can choose. Basically, it could be based on one or two interests, and it could target, let's say, a few 100,000 people, 10, 20,000 people. Once they keep seeing your ad, they get accustomed to who you are, what you're all about, your logo, your image. Then that's basically the top of the funnel, tofu. Now you bring them down to the middle of the funnel here. And that's when you start niching down into consideration. So your target audience, some of them might already be a lead, some of them might already have signed up, or some of them might have just seen your ad, liked a post, or just saw a video and have really engaged that much. But the fact of the matter is, they are kind of in their back of their mind, they already know who you are. They've seen your ad, they get an idea. So they're not really taken aback when they see an ad saying, sign up for a lead now, or we do photography services in your area, or this is a realtor, check him out. They're not really taken aback. They're not confused. Why am I getting this ad? They already have an idea. Okay. And then at the bottom of the funnel, you kind of spend more money and you bring them down by making them take action. And what do I mean by this is you narrow it down. So it comes down to either you give them a really good deal because you now know who your main audience is because they've already engaged and you brought them down to the funnel. So you give them a really good deal. You tell them, you give them a call to action. You tell them, hey, this is what you should do. Click on this ad or sign up here. Talk to one of our free representatives, get a free consultations, whatever it is. Just give them an idea of what to do. And in the back of their mind, they'll be thinking, okay, so I've seen these guys before. They're probably famous. They've done this a lot of times. I'll probably, book consultation. And that's when you get into what we call a purchase or after purchase. That's when you brought them down successfully from awareness to the funnel, to consideration, to decision-making, to a purchase. And this is basically how Facebook lines it up. Now, Facebook, when you're doing Facebook ads, the top of the funnel, you can reach on impressions, you can reach on landing page views, link clicks, how many people kind of daily unique reach, how many people, or how many unique clicks you're getting per day, engagement, video views, and all that kind of stuff. Then you bring them down to the middle of the funnel, same thing, landing page views. If they've messaged you, that's really good. That means they've engaged and they're interested. They've signed something up, they have leads, and some of them might have even converted. And at the bottom, the goal is to actually get them down to the post-purchase or getting them into or onto a call with you. Okay, now custom audiences. This is something which I'll be, like I said, I'll be going over today in more detail. You can basically, what this means is that if you were there in the last class, I did go over this in a small amount of detail. I'll be going over this again in much more broader detail. And just to give you an idea, if you did miss it, we are uploading last class's video today on YouTube. So go on YouTube, Iguide, and it'll be there. Also do us a favor and subscribe, because we are trying to reach 8,000 subscriber mark. Now, custom audiences. What this basically means is that, oops, sorry, 1 second. I thought I got a message. All good. Okay. Custom audiences, yes. So what this basically means is that now you created an audience of people who have engaged with your website, engaged with your content. Now, what you can do is you can use the same information or the same people that have engaged with your website. And the same people could be the ones who've added a product to a cart, who watched your video, who've engaged with your content. You can basically now create or retarget your ads or new ads to the same specific people. And that's what custom audiences and retargeting is. You customize your audience rather than going broad and selecting on interest. You go slightly niche and select on the people from the broader audience who have engaged on your website and your content, and you can market your ads to them. That way, the results are much more better in this case, because now, like I said, you're bringing them down to the funnel. They've seen your ads and they're now more interested. And as well as because Facebook is a very smart algorithm, it basically targets people who are more likely to click on your ads and see them. One thing I do want to also talk about is customer contact list. So what this basically is, Facebook actually has this option where if you have a database, let's say, of previous customers with their name and their email address, that's usually most of the time, that's all you need. Sometimes their phone number. If you have that information, you can actually upload an Excel sheet on Facebook at the back end. And what Facebook does is actually they match profiles on Facebook based on the information you've provided. Meaning, let's say, for example, if I have 1,000 customers on an Excel sheet with their information, their email, name, and their phone number, and I upload it on the Facebook backend, Facebook will go and find these people on the platform itself, either it's on Instagram or Facebook, and it will match that information closely to these people, making sure that it's those people, and it will actually let you target their ads to them. So for example, you have 1,000 people that might be interested, gave you their contact information, but never purchased or never, went ahead with the lead, but at least you have their information. Now you can basically go ahead and retarget ads to those people. So it's really interesting how that works. Another thing you can do also, obviously, is now that you have their information and Facebook can match it to those profiles, it will study the behaviors of these people, who they are, what kind of online activities they have, what kind of things they purchase, and what kind of things they click on. And it'll actually give you an option to go and find a lookalike audience based on those behaviors as well. So this is going to be the next slide. Lookalike audiences are basically people who are similar to your current audience or who have engaged with you in the past. For example, let's say if I have 100 people showing up to my website each day, and I'm just basically telling Facebook, hey, listen, these are 100 people I've, allocated or targeted. I want you to go and find people similar to these people who have similar behaviors online, who have similar, activity, engagement patterns online. Facebook is going to go and find people similar to this audience and retarget ads to them. So like I said, if you have a number of people, let's say, you have their information, you have their email, name, phone number, their contact list, you can tell Facebook, hey, these are the people that actually engaged with us a while ago. They gave us information. Go find us people who are similar to them and let me retarget my ads to them. And it'll let you do that as well. Now, one thing you have to be 100% careful about is that before you can optimize any of this, you need to install your pixel on your website or landing page. I did touch upon what a pixel is last time. I'll go over this one more time. A pixel is basically a code Facebook provides. What it lets you do is you can take the pixel and you give it to whoever made your website, right? It could be a freelancer, it could be you, whoever created your landing page website, they would know what this is. And you tell them, hey, listen, here's a pixel, here's a code. I want you to install this on the website. If they've made this, if they made your site, they're probably, they probably are aware of what it is. It's like Google, it's like installing Google Analytics. They install the code, and what happens next is basically the pixel, the code tracks anyone and everyone that comes on your website through Facebook. And the pixel then sends that information back to Facebook and it collects it in this database. And that lets you basically go ahead and retarget, to other audiences. It lets you retarget to lookalike audiences. So it's really important that you have the pixel ready. And, last thing is that you can obviously retarget them based on certain actions they take. Someone who watched your video, someone who purchased from you before, you can go ahead and retarget them if you have a new product or a new service. Now, that being said, let's jump on. Okay. Once you are on Ads Manager, you will see, one second. Yeah, you'll see these little dots here called Business Tools. And what you want to do is you want to click on Audiences. Okay, again, one more time, Ads Manager, click on Tools and Audiences. So these are all the list of audiences. I've actually deleted some of them, but the main ones I've had before are the audience that have signed up and the audience that I'm retargeting based on customer reviews. So you'll notice that the audience that have signed up are below 1,000. So they're around a few hundred. So they're not too many, which is why I'm not going to retarget based on the ones that have signed up, because it's too low of a number. When you want to retarget someone, you want to retarget specifically on an action that have signed up, because you can retarget on many things. But if you're targeting someone who have signed up, it should be at least 1,000 or more. So that at least gives an idea to Facebook that, okay, these are the kind of people we can retarget. But you can also target on a lot of other things. For example, I'm targeting based on number of people that have watched my video before. So at least 3,300 people, and I can retarget them because they've engaged with that content. And trust me, it's really easy to get these numbers up. I'm not really putting in a lot of money, so I've kept them purposely low. But if, a few $100 and the right broad audience setting, you can get them up to a few 100,000. Very simple. So you go and create audience, and first thing you want to do is you go on custom audience. Okay. Now, once you're in custom audience, I do want to go over a few more things before I lead into the next steps. It'll give you a bunch of options here, your sources of your retargeting. So if I go on here, it'll tell me basically you can create an audience based on the visitors on your Facebook pixel, meaning people that have gone to your website and engaged with your content on your website. So you can retarget them based on that. They could be landing page views, they could be signups, they could be anything, right? It could be a bunch of actions they've taken. So that's one set of audience you can retarget, people who have engaged with your website. Another set of audience is basically, your video. This is my favorite one because this is so easy. Basically what this is that if you have a 10-second video, someone who's watched that video or image, whatever it is, you can retarget them based on that. So like I said last time, the general rule of marketing is you want to show your brand to someone around 6 to 7 times. That's the average number of times before a person actually converts, because at that point, they're at a level where if they've engaged, they're aware and they're considerable, meaning they're considering actually, coming down the funnel or contacting you. So that's a good number to keep in mind. You can also target people on a lead form, meaning people, lead forms are basically, it's a very simple way of, creating ads. You basically keep them on Facebook and they fill out a lead on Facebook and you get the information instead of sending them to a landing page. What that means is that now you can target people based on who have interacted with your lead form. You can also target people on the customer list. As I was talking earlier, these are the people that, you have their information, you upload their information, and, Facebook will find them on that platform and they will show the ads to them specifically. There's also offline activity, things they've done offline, let's say in-store visit or over the phone or offline channels. Kind of scary, but very powerful. Events, Facebook page, people that have gone to your page or on the listings, or seen your Instagram account. So for right now, let's the first couple of examples I'm going to show you. First one is a website audience. So let's click on that. Go on next, and this custom audience section shows up. Basically, what it means is that now this is where you kind of refine your audience. So you can either, I usually keep this on any number of people that have engaged, and the source. This is a pixel. So remember when I was talking about the pixel? This is the source. This is the code people have, or the code on the website that people have engaged with, in the sense that Facebook has sent information back through this pixel, and you can use this pixel now because this pixel is basically now like a database you can reuse. So click on that, and you can choose all website visitors. Includes people that have visited your website, people who have visited a specific page on the website. For example, you could be sending them to a blog, you could be sending them to a contact page, you could be sending them to like pretty much anywhere on your website, or visitors by time spent. So if you want to go really niche, you can target them by, let's say, the people that have spent the most time on your website, because as we know, the more time you spend on a website, the more considerable you are to actually take action, versus someone who's there for a few seconds and bounces off. They're not generally interested. You can also do more customizable sources where page view or lead. These are the actions they have taken on the website I'm working on. So I've set this up in two ways: number of people that have viewed the website and number of leads I've received. But for just the example's sake, I'm going to choose all website visitors, keep it broad. Okay. You also have the option. Oh, before I go on there, let's talk about retention. This is basically the number of days you can backtrack you want to target on. So for example, if I'm creating an ad right now, I can, as long as the pixel has been installed ever since I created the website and started retarget on Facebook, I can go back up to 180 days max of activity. What that means, I can go back almost half a year to target people that have basically shown interest or done something on my website. So I have 180 days of activity from the past I can retarget based on. Unfortunately, we can't go over 180. 180 is the maximum. Now you can go next on include or exclude. So this is something interesting. You can include more visitors. For example, you can include website visitors and people who spend more time with your website, or website visitors and people who have visited a specific website. Best example this is, like, for example, someone who's gone to your website, someone who's checked out the blogs, and someone who has also added something to the cart or almost engaged by filling in their contact information but not submitting it. So that shows very high intent. What that means is that they're so interested that they've gone to the website, they've checked out my blogs, they've almost filled out the contact information form. I can add that up and retarget to them because something happened there that they didn't press submit. It could be many things. Could be they were busy or the internet crashed or anything, right? So you can retarget the ads to them as a friendly reminder. Oops, sorry about that. I exited. Let's go back. Okay, website visitors 180. All right. Or you can exclude people. So people, for example, that have gone to your website, but you don't want the same people that have already submitted the information. What that means is that, okay, so why would I want to retarget my ads to the same people that have already gone and sent in the information? No, that doesn't make sense, right? So what I would rather do is I would I would retarget my ads to the people that have gone to the website, taken an action, but have not submitted the contact information. Those are the people I want to go target. So I can exclude, let's say, leads, meaning don't target anyone who's already given me their contact information because there's no point. And once you've set the parameters up, just name your audience. This is so much easier for campaign optimization. Just 1 second. Let's put this as audience test 1. Optional description, I usually keep it blank. Now let's create this audience. Now you'll see that it shows up over here. These are basically, it kind of, oops, 1 second. This area shows up all the people, your audiences that you've saved before, and you can kind of retarget based on them, and you can kind of easy click and easy optimize. So it shows up over here. And what I can do next is basically I'll click here. Before I do that, I want to also show you that since my audience is below 1,000, I can still use it. It's not ideal, but I can still possibly target to the same people. Again, the more people you have that have engaged with your website, the better it is for retargeting, because you give Facebook more information to work with. For this example, I'm just going to keep it below 1,000. It's a little niche, but that's fine. So then I click audience test. And now basically I have a custom audience. You can kind of look around and see what it's like. Size fewer than 1,000, custom audience type, created, and based on website traffic. Now from this, what I can do is I can create a lookalike audience. Okay, so I go on lookalike audience, and so let me try that to go over that again. So I go here, lookalike audience, and I have 2 options. I can click on the pixel, which would give me, if you're not selling anything specifically, like if you don't have a product you're selling on your website, you don't want to go on that, because it'll only give you information based on the people that have purchased from you. So what you want to do instead is go on here, click other sources, and then do audience set. This is the audience I made with you right now. So just click on that, and now you have a lookalike audience based on the custom audience you made earlier. Kind of confusing, but again, I can go over that if you have more questions later. Now, next, what we want to do is you want to select the audience location. Always just keep it simple, keep it to the country you are targeting. Don't go specific right now. You'll have the option of doing that later. This step, the last step here is a little confusing. Let me try breaking it down as simply as possible. Lookalike audiences vary from the likeliness of how similar they are from 0% to 10%. So what this means is that you can basically target the top 1% of people in a location that have engaged with your, or that are similar to those who have engaged with your content. This is very niche. It's very helpful if you want to basically, get high intent customers down your pipeline. Or what you can do is you can go to 10%, and as you'll see, your number increases here to 2.6 million. And this is, yes, it's a great number, but it's too broad. I mean, it can still work, but chances are that the majority of people that are coming through the funnel, all these people, will not be that similar to your custom audience. You know why? Because they're too broad, so you'll probably get a lot of bounce back. So ideally, the sweet spot is between 1 and 2%. I like to keep it 2% just to give it a little extra, a little extra space to kind of work with. Now you go and create your audience. It'll take a couple of minutes, and it shows up right here. So, lookalike audience, Canada, audience test 1, 2%. Okay. Again, below 1,000, which is fine. Click here, and you'll see that it doesn't let me create an ad, or because it's too low. So in this case, what I can do is basically I can go and recustomize my parameters. What that means in the sense is that, I've already done this before. I'll do that again with you. in this example, I want to show you that basically I'm retargeting on people that have viewed my content. So this is around 3,300 people. It's a good number. And I can just click on that. And because it's a good size number, I can go ahead and create the ad. It's the same idea, nothing, it didn't do anything different. Just went here, custom audience, I clicked on video content. Same thing, engagement. You know what, I'll do this with you, might as well. I think it's a good exercise. So when you're targeting on people that have viewed your content, you usually get a really good number, and that lets you recreate ads. So you go on create audience, custom audience, and you go on video views. And then you choose the type of engagement. I do apologize if I'm doing fast. I will answer all your questions in the end. So the type of engagement. So what you want is you want people that have at least seen at least 3 seconds of your video, because that shows that they've seen some part of the content without really clicking off. Or you can do at least 25% of your video. So 3% of your video is fine, meaning they've watched 3 seconds of your video, which is good enough. Audience name, test 2 views. 1 second. Oops. You can do 3 number of people again that have watched it, how many days back. You can do 180, but since I've already created the audience, I'm just going to retarget them on the one that I've already made. So same idea, custom audience, just click here, action, create ad. Or you can go action and create lookalike based on that, either way. So if I just go on here, create ad, I'm just going to retarget based on the custom actions I've taken. If I go on here and click lookalike, I'm just creating ads based on similar behaviors. So now that, let me do that again for you. So I go here, create ad, gets me to a new window, and now I can target based on brand awareness, traffic, conversion. I like to do on traffic, send them to your website. You can also do conversion. It's a little more specific, but for this example, I'll just do traffic, send them over, and that basically creates, and now you might remember this in the last class, you're back at the setting where you just make a new ad base. And now because you are using people that have seen your content, you're just making an ad based on that. So we can do, let's say, retarget on views. Because I'm working in real estate, I'll have to declare this as a housing category, because that is a legal requirement. If you're not falling within one of these, categories, don't worry about it. So this means if you're related to, let's say, property listings, home insurance, mortgages, or related opportunities. Since some of you might be in the photography business, but you're working with real estate, you might have to declare this as housing. But again, also depends if your business is very broad. If you're doing weddings and real estate and whatever it is, then it also depends there. Campaign budget optimization, always click yes. What that means is that, again, Facebook optimizes the budget on each campaign depending how they're performing. Let's keep the daily budget to $10 a day. You'll press next. Now, because I'm sending traffic to the website, I can also send them to the same people that have engaged with my content. I can send them back to either the website, an app, if I have a messenger, or if you have WhatsApp, you can use that as well. Because some of you might be aware now, Facebook owns WhatsApp, so you can integrate your WhatsApp there as well. On the right side, you'll see your audience definition, 27 million, a little too broad, but we'll niche it down so it's a little more niche and, not too broad. That's usually better. So ignore these parts. I tend to ignore them. Dynamic creative Facebook lets you. Facebook basically tests its own creative and sees which one works best. You can use that if you want, but I like to have more control on the creative side, so I usually keep it off. or if you have an offer as well, you can drive them to an offer that people receive, such as reminders. Don't need to do this if you're doing, lead generation for contact information only. This is where you want to schedule your dates. So just keep it ongoing, starting tomorrow or today. And now this is where you actually go ahead and you further niche down your audience. Since you're already making an audience based on, people that have viewed your content, you don't need to go ahead and make this any more complicated. Just basically go on custom audiences and just click on the audience test. If you remember, these are the audiences we created. So I'm just going to do retargeting on views. I can do retargeting on website clicks, which is less than 1,000. It's fine, but the more the better. So I'm just going to go on size 3,300 of the number of people that have watched my content. And now you'll also see that, you'll see potential reach is unavailable. Now, this is actually an interesting thing Facebook has started doing, and I'll tell you why. If you're basically retargeting a set of audience based on, let's say, views, or if you have their information, you're retargeting them, Facebook won't exactly tell you 100% what the available reach is, and that's for privacy reasons specifically, because they don't want to give away too much information. So it won't tell you exactly from the people that have viewed your content how many can they actually reach. It's a little strange, but they do this for privacy specifically. And it makes sense as well, you won't be able to narrow down specifically to people or discriminate based on the people that have viewed your content. You can also, because this is a real estate based, ad, I cannot target based on age or gender. That's one of the new requirements, because it comes under special ad category. So if you're doing a photography business ad, you won't have to worry about it if you don't click on housing, as long as your business does other things other than real estate. But if you're specifically only specializing in real estate, you probably have to do ad category housing, and that means you can only target based on these parameters. But it doesn't really matter because you've already customized your audience in the first place. Detailed targeting, Facebook doesn't let you do that as much, but you can still go ahead and do that based on interests. But since you're retargeting on custom audiences, leave that be, because you already have people that have viewed your content. So no need to go and customize them further. Automatic placements basically means, Facebook places the content on multiple platforms on Facebook and Instagram, and it optimizes the content based on which one does better. So I'm doing on link optimization delivery, link clicks, and landing page views. So I want to drag them to link clicks. These are the people. So basically, Facebook will optimize my ads to the people who are most likely to click a link. I think that's generally much more the direction you want to go to, because you want people to go on your website and fill out a form versus just land or just see the content for what it is. So this is usually the better option. You want to press next. And now you can basically make your ad single image, carousel, or collection. So in this case, let's do a single image. I don't actually have any ads waiting for me right now. I'll have to do that again with you. Let's just go on Canva real quick, make something up. Since I already did this last time, I'm going to be very quick on this. I won't take too much time. This is the one I did last time. I'm just going to go and reuse the same ad just for this example. As you can see, it's downloading. Click on that. At the same time, while it's downloading, turn preview on. This will show you where the placements of the ads will be. And you can also do a slideshow where it's like a carousel, and customers can basically go ahead and see where they want to, what ads they want to click on. So 1 second, select same account. Okay, add media. Oops, actually, sorry. Video. There you go. Next. And it shows up, it'll show up on the side, on the screen, on the right side of the screen. As you can see, it has been officially loaded, and you can see all the places it will be placed on. If you click on view more variations, you'll see that it shows up on Facebook feed, search result, Insta article, a bunch of other places, Instagram, stories, all that good stuff. It'll show up there and you can see how the placement will look. Next, what you want is you have that, you can do a write-up. If you were there in my last class, you probably remember the write-up. I'll make something similar. You have, if you don't remember, we were doing a dance class ad. So I'll do the same thing. If you have 2 left feet and struggle with dancing, then click the link below and book, a free dance class with our experts. Now the idea is that because I've created a custom audience, I've showed them an ad before, I am now retargeting them with a new ad, with new content, or the same content. The same idea is that now you're basically hitting them again with more content, right? You're hitting the same people again, making sure that they're seeing the same content from you, from the same brand, and they're going to get used to it. So eventually at that point, they will be thinking that, okay, so these guys look legitimate. I've seen their ads a few times. They seem to be all over the place. I think I'll go and click on their ad and book a class. Now think about it from your perspective. If you see an ad for the first time, you probably won't give it too much attention. If you see it a couple more times, you'll think, okay, yeah, there's something about this ad that stands out. You'll probably go investigate and see what's happening, especially now because you've customized it based on the people that have already shown interest and have already shown some kind of intent to purchase. Headline, I usually keep it empty, but you can fill it up. Click here for free classes, and it'll show up on this side. Oops. And then you want to send them to a URL or a landing page. I'm just going to choose the same one, but you can customize that as well. Underpriced CA. So you'll see it's filling up here on the side. Description. Click here now. So that shows up on this side here as well. So that gives them the intent. You can also send them to a phone call, which is much more interesting. So now they can just, click on the ad. You type in the number here. And basically, once they click on the ad, if they're on their phone especially, they'll go through your phone. It'll send you a phone call and you'll book a session right away. This is a pixel we're still working on based on track information, so keeping that the same. And you can go ahead and publish this ad. Obviously, I'm not going to do that right now, or I don't need to, because this is not the idea for the specific ad, but that's the idea. You go ahead and you can go ahead and make that content. Now, I'm going to go back on this page one more time, and I can do the same thing, retargeting on people. Oops, let's see here. Create a lookalike. So I can go and create a lookalike based on the people that have viewed my content. If you remember the same thing I told you, use the same information. Keep it 2% and create your audience. And now you have 2% of people of retargeting on your reviews. Again, this is less than 1,000, so it might not exactly let you do that. If it's over 1,000, it will let you create the ad, but if it's under 1,000, it most likely won't. So if you're doing lookalike, make sure that you have enough people in your database or in your pixel to retarget. Otherwise, Facebook doesn't let you do it because it's way too less to let Facebook go and find people that are similar. So anything over 1,000 is usually a good bet. Some of you might be intimidated. 1,000 seems like a lot. It really isn't. You know, you just put like $10, $20 a day, and you keep creating ads and keep sending people to your website to the same pixel, and that pixel will gather that information, send it back to Facebook. And once you have a few thousand people, you can go ahead and create the ad. That's pretty much it. So that's all for now, guys. I know that was a lot of information to take in. So I'm opening the floor for questions, because I don't think I should go over more information, because you're probably not going to retain it, because that's a lot for one session. I will be having another session next week as well for one more part 3 of the series. We'll be talking more in detail about other techniques, how to create better ads, how to use better copy, how to target based on better copy. Do make sure to check that out. And if you want to check out this video again, it will be uploaded on our YouTube at Iguide, and you can go and check that out as well. So if you have any questions, fire them away. I'll be on for a couple more minutes to see if anyone has any more questions. It looks like there are no questions coming in. Again, if you have any more questions in your mind later on, you know, just go on our YouTube channel and watch the video again, take notes. We will be uploading it again, and also make sure you subscribe. One last call for questions, guys. Nothing in. Something. So hey Hubert, so the upload should be available sometime next week. The upload from last week's class will be basically available today. You can go ahead and check that out sometime after 5 p.m. It should be available then on YouTube at Iguide. And for this class, it'll be available next week. Thanks, Victor. Yes, I do understand. It is a little challenging. It took me a lot of time, to be honest, guys. Don't be intimidated. This is actually not that hard. It took me a lot of trial and errors to get this right. But go ahead and check out the content one more time, and go ahead, and if you have the ability to play around, if you have something on your end, and trust me, it's easy once you start picking it up. One thing I do want to make sure to explain one more time properly: if you're doing any ads, any retargeting, make sure your pixel is installed, because if your pixel isn't installed, let's say you install it today and you have a year's worth of people visiting your site, you won't be able to retarget them. You can only retarget people based on the date the pixel was installed on the website. So go ahead and make sure you do that. Guys, I'm going to log off. This was great. I'm going to be coming back next week. We'll talk a little more about a little more complicated strategies. We can talk about specifically copywriting, how to write good copy. And yep, go ahead, Victor. value type. So next week we'll be talking about copywriting, how to write good content for your ads, how to structure them, and excuse me, what to look for when you are basically, trying to create an effective creative for your ad. It's interesting. There's actually a whole formula you should follow. It's a whole ballpark. I'll open the can of worms next week for you guys. Victor's asking, I am just building my website for the 3D Iguide service photo video. Do you recommend a particular website builder? Okay, so very good question, because this is actually important based on what your intent is. So if you're just looking to get leads and contact information, I personally like using Wix because it's very user-friendly, it's cheap, and it gives you all the things you need for the price you pay. If you want something that, let's say if you're selling something like a physical product, I would specifically choose ClickFunnels for that. Why? Because you can then bring people in. It lets you create, landing pages and funnels. At the same time, it lets you actually sell up a product or sell down a product, in the sense that you can either, once they're logging out or cashing out on the cart, you can give them other things they can buy as well. So it's a really good tool you can use if you're selling a physical product. If you're selling a service, I would only recommend Wix, only because I've used Squarespace and Wix and Shopify as well, and I personally love Wix because it is so easy, and it has like a bunch of templates you can just copy and paste as well. Any other questions, guys? Anytime. All right, so one more time, I am logging off. Training will be available, recorded on YouTube. Check it out, Iguide. Do subscribe. We are trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of May. That is my goal. Hopefully you can help us get there. And Johnny, thank you so much for attending. And guys, hope you have a good well, it's not going to be a long weekend, but hope you have a good weekend. Take care.